Welcome to podcast number 186. I'm your host, David Palermo, and alongside me is Adam, the Bills fan, Deacon. Want to say hello?
I do, but I'll do it later.
Okay, well, Deacon's here. He's back for this podcast, and today we're reading out loud Deadspin's infamous article that they do on every team. But for the Bills this one, why your team sucks. So if you'd like to follow along, stay tuned. And as always, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you find your social media. We're up on it. Get on it. Shoot Adam a follow, Adam the Bills fan. And let's get into this Deadspin article. All right, Deke. So, as you know, I don't really read much, and
I actually just found out that you knew how real recently.
Spelling is really my strong point, and it's really just...
No, I mean, you're really showing improvement, though. You got the 6-letter words down, some of the 7-letter words. You're getting good.
A friend gave me 2 paperback books before my wife and I went on vacation to read.
What was it? The Cat in the Hat and the Berenstein Bears?
I don't want to tell anybody because I'm selfish, and I don't want anybody reading them. But, no, it's called The E-Myth and 7 Power Contractor or something like that. So I got through about the foreword and the introduction and into the first chapter, which is essentially only 38 pages across 32 pages across a 6-day span and 15 hours of plane rides and airport time. Maybe 20.
Pathetic.
But that's like 32 more physical pages than I've read anywhere. And I don't think shampoo bottles and marketing shit to get me to buy your stuff counts. So, anyway, so I'm clicking around and I'm trying this new thing called reading because my way of taking in Bills information, frankly, is to put on as much audio at Bills Talk that I can find. And that rents a lot of space in my brain. And I need to start reading it and make more time to just sit down and read Bills shit. So I'm clicking around. And as I'm going through my multiple personalities of self, I get back to Deadspin, and I'm like, "Wow, remember when I was fun, Deacon? like we had a
I think I said, "Do you remember when you were fun?"
Yeah, and then
I think I said that.
Like literally, that's the truth. I mean, your absence has been just not been
man,
fun.
what happened to you, man? You used to be cool, man.
So it just reminded me of what I am, which is full of shit.
Yes.
And
that's accurate.
Gonna say what the fuck flies and not care about it because
also accurate.
I don't know why I'm dreaming like I'm going to be some kind of like professional reporter, dude. Can I put on the shades and keep it cool for you? Yeah, I can keep it clean. I do it every day at work. But when it comes time to talk about sports, I don't want to like pony it up with some puppies and make it all family friendly if it doesn't frankly need to be.
Right. And I mean, sometimes you just naturally fall into that though. And, you know, we did a lot of podcasts together and, you know, some of them were completely out in left field. And then other ones were in here trying to be John Murphy Jr. And
I remember like Rashad Mendenhall's brother or something like that. We covered him on a podcast. Like he was in the title, Bill Sign Axe. And it's like, you know, I think our strength is just being ourselves, talking about it, and half the time we miss the best shit, and we should have pressed record in the car or something, you know. And we'll just start wearing headsets. Even when you're shitting, just talk to me through the door. I got you. And, you know, I could toss you some toilet paper. Oh, wait, we already did a video on that.
Yeah, so, no, I mean, there was definitely a lot of times when we were podcasting together where we could have probably did a better podcast if we just, like, recorded it in the car while we were going to get coffee, talking about what we were going to podcast about, than what we actually came back and said, like, after we, like, Because we would get so sidetracked, it'd be like, oh, hey, look, there's some wings over here, 50-cent wing night. You want to go do this? So I mean, by the time we got around to podcasting, I mean, that news was a day old already.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like, it's weird because I see people, they start podcasts all the time, and it's like, oh, I'm going to start a Bills podcast. So I'm going to have it go for every day. And it's like, well, I hope it's good. Where I'd rather make sure I know what the hell I'm talking about, and I still don't know what the hell I'm talking about when I think I know what the hell I'm talking about. And it's like, and I guess be somewhat prepared. We actually do, contrary to prior belief, we really did try hard behind the scenes and do a lot of prep work, to an accountability level where we would get mad at each other, what are you coughing on, sir?
Oh, that's nobody's business but mine.
Deacon's got the flu. He's got the flu. Unless, you got a side job.
The bird flu.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's the bird flu.
But the whole thing is for me, it's always been let's cut through the bullshit. And same with you. It's always been what is the truth of the situation? We see coaches come in, they put players into position, yada, yada, yada. And without you, I kind of lost the real satire of the show, and it's it turned me into, okay, Eric Turner presents me from cover1.net. Eric Turner, the great Eric Turner, he gets me a chance to get to the sidelines last training camp, and that was cool because, I mean, dude, we're construction people. I don't have a degree. So for us to organically just do this shooting the shit, be let's just kind of find the truth. And for a guy like Eric, who's one of the most professional people I've ever met, he has a good job. He really, his work is second to none. His work ethic is second to none. And his work is clean, respectable, and he knows what he's doing. So, when I get that kind of opportunity, I have to represent that person, I could definitely slide in that role.
You can't just go out there and act like a jackass,
right,
even though that's what we're good at.
Right. And don't get me wrong, my day job is I'm a drywall contractor / finisher. So if you have a basement, you want to do your walls, I can frame it up for you, find somebody to do it, remodeling stuff. So new home stuff. So when I see clients, yes, I have to keep it clean and professional. But with the bill stuff and sports, we can adjust to whatever. We can keep it clean. You work a job too. We're human beings. But when it comes to sports talk, it's just so refreshing to have a Deadspin to remind me, what the fuck do you think you are?
Yeah, yeah.
You have never fit in. You are the class clown in the back of the room talking shit. That's what I fucking am. And I'm here, it's great to have you next to me right now because it's been an identity crisis.
Because I'm good looking.
You're great looking. Dude, there's a beautiful bird. There's a hummingbird right in this plant in front of us. This is so... I should get a picture. Anyways. So we got this... Dave's got the Deadspin article in a really bad case of attention deficit disorder. If anyone has some spare Ritalin that they could send, we'll post the address in the show notes. And no, this won't be the 5th straight podcast about a damn quarterback. Maybe not. So, all right.
But don't worry, the season starts week after next, so we got 17 in a row of those coming up.
Pretty much. I mean,
brace yourselves.
I love training camp. I love all this crap. But when I'm hearing about, Josh Allen's going to grow as a starter, it's dude, what do you mean grow as whatever?
Grow. That dude's big as shit already. He don't need to grow.
Yeah, he's tall. What are you talking about? All right, so check it. Why Your Team Sucks. 2018 Buffalo Bills from Drew McGarry at Deadspin. And the first picture you see is Josh Allen getting sacked. And caption says, some people are fans of the Buffalo Bills, but many, many more people are not fans of the Buffalo Bills. This 2018 Deadspin NFL team preview is for those in the latter group. Read all the previews so far here. So Eric Rosendahl from Eric Sports on Twitter, dumbest thing you'll see all day, and some kind of video of fire on a table.
Yeah, you got the flaming table scene from the tailgate.
Okay,
it's kind of what the Bills fan base has become famous for. Not unfortunately. You know what? Not unfortunately. Growing up, I was a big wrestling fan. Big ECW fan. If there's anyone who can appreciate a burning table bump, it's this guy. But here's my message to you Bills fans. Stop using the plastic fucking tables. You're going to hurt yourself. Get a wooden table. They break. The plastic tables, they don't break. They just bounce your bones back and forth and snap them in half. Just stop. You look like amateurs. You want a good bump, you need a wooden table.
I frankly don't like that the Pagulas and they're having a major clampdown on these table fire parties, and they're taking Buffalo out of Buffalo.
Well,
Buffalo is one of the last, dude. Look, if somebody breaks their neck, well, that should give the next idiot an idea to not break their neck. Let them break their neck.
I mean, to be fair,
can we be adults here?
To be fair, no
one's
slid down the handrail since that one dude did break his neck. But, you also had a couple unfortunate things where people ended up dead. So,
Like what?
Well, there was the one guy who, wandered off and,
killed himself in a parking lot 2 years ago?
Well, there was that, and there was, another dude who, I think,
passed out. He wandered behind the stadium drunk.
Passed out in the stream or whatever, yeah. And then, you don't want to see that happen. It's they should have known better, but at the same time, if that was your homeboy or your brother, or you know what I mean, your son or whatever, your dad, anybody you're gonna feel really awful to see that happen. So I get that they want it to be a safe thing, and but damn,
but to have our police force being paid to walk up and down lots, they have better shit to do.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Seriously, to come spoil the fun, to walk up and down private lots as well. Sometimes it's
yeah,
that's no.
That's different.
I'm sorry, but our country's broke and stuff, and it's not for nothing. Our cities look better with lights on them. At least in Rochester, it looks great. Buffalo's looking cleaned up. But it's not like anybody's really making any more money, and we're going to waste our damn money on these cops to police some shit that, I got to pay season ticket money for already, which is my own choice. But I would doubt that my damn TV near my section by the secret bathroom was fixed by 3:31.
Right, no, I mean...
You know what I mean? It's how about you put the money to use, but you're going to spend it on cops and all this extra crap?
Yeah,
nobody's really hurting each other. They self-police it?
Again, yeah, it's one of those things, because, you want it to be a safe, fun environment, but at the same time, What's a bigger buzz?
I think those guys are getting time and a half.
I was gonna say, what's a bigger buzzkill than getting 4 or 5 drinks in you, and then the cops walk up and tell you, well, what are you doing?
I'll send a message out tonight and just ask a police officer and find out what it is. 'Cause if I'm not mistaken, they might get time and a half for events like that, and they're just all you're doing is just spoiling.
Well, working
fun.
Sundays blows, so good for that. They probably don't even want to have to be in that position.
Okay, are there policemen at the skate park so these kids don't whack their head open? No, that's them.
There might be. I don't know. I haven't been to a skate park in a long time.
But you get my
There's
point.
probably a skate park that's got cops.
So
I've definitely seen videos of cops dropping in on half pipes before. It's out there. YouTube, baby.
I've definitely seen it.
You ever hear of YouTube? It's mint.
It is. They're racing some stuff, but it's all right. But look, so to put that to rest, as far as the burning table, all about it. Let's go. If you're going to drive your car drunk into a bunch of people, I got more of a problem with that. But I don't see no damn cops giving all these people breathalyzers, do you? So what side of the fence do you want to be on? I'm more in favor of that if you're going to waste the cops money, because that's actually going to save lives. Some moron breaking his arm? Good fucking riddance, idiot. I will gladly sit there with the video and take a picture of it.
You know what? They need to confiscate the plastic tables, though. If you're going to do it right, you need a wooden table.
And you know what? This is just classic wrestling here, and let's just keep it real.
Yeah. I mean, it just feels like, paying paying homage to the Dudley Boys. I like it.
I'm
So
scrolling
so
over
let's
here
let's
I'm
move on
scrolling
here
up
though.
and I am
This was
already-
supposed to be about the Deadspin article, and now we're talking about cops.
Well, this is
and-
why I wanted to go through it, because that's our thought. That's my thought. So follow me. So
Yeah. What we got?
as I'm scrolling up, I'm already ready to take my damn 10X here and throw it through the fucking window because I'm getting pissed, because this is exactly how I feel. Because what's funny about this Deadspin article is I agree with a lot of it. And, you know, a lot of radio personalities over the years, I've been like, man, why are you so fucking negative? But on the real, you're just fucking jaded, and you're just further down the path than I was. There was a happy-go-lucky Bill saying, hey, man, why are you being so negative? It can happen. But then it's like, no, you realize it's on coaches and players that have a good marriage together, and if they can't communicate, it ain't fucking happening. And there's different strokes for different folks in every locker room. And a lot of times these people overthink situations. They don't see what's in front of them, and yada, yada, yada. It's sports. Shit's going to happen. I mean, it's just 11 players have to do the exact same thing for the play to work and expect the other person across them to react how they want them to react. It's just not going to happen.
So
That's
wait.
what makes it chess. So
Let me clarify. Did you just say the players are married to the coaches and they're stroking each other in the locker room?
yes,
This just got seedy.
it got real good.
This got seedy, and
Take
I
out
like
your
it.
phone. So look, it starts out. Your 2017 record goes 9-7. Oh hell, roll the tape. You guys earned it. ... And it's a video of all the Bills players, a famous one.
The locker room footage from the end of the Cincinnati-Baltimore game there.
The typical one you've seen where the Bills are all watching the last play where really Andy Dalton brought the Bills to the playoffs. So, and he gets into it.
Okay, see, we could argue that though.
Yeah, but we're going to get into that.
It goes there, but man,
So look,
we did our part.
True. But here's the deal. Article reads, I am deeply cynical. Awful, man. But even I got emotional watching this franchise. This horrible, miserable, and possibly woebegone franchise secure their first playoff berth in the 21st century. It was one of those pure, wonderful moments that the NFL seems determined to purge for the sport entirely. And I'm glad, surprised, to have witnessed it. Of course, you guys wouldn't have needed the Bengals, ! In parentheses, to help backdoor you into the playoffs if your coach hadn't made one of football history's most sudden, inexplicably stupid moves in the middle of the season, ... which goes, quote Sean McDermott, as I continue to evaluate our roster and our goal to become better, I decided to start Nate Peterman as our quarterback this week, end quote. So then he goes on, I could live 100 years, not likely give him a beer intake, and I would never let you people live down the Nathan Peterman experiment. It equaled the fluty benching in audacity and topped in mind-boggling idiocy. Keep in mind that the Bills bench starter Tyrod Taylor on a Wednesday after they had reaffirmed him as a starter 2 days earlier. No one knows what changed in between. I just assume Richie Incognito busted into Kim Pagula's office brandishing a tiki torch that Tuesday. So he goes on and on a little bit, but so he rebuttals with Nathan Peterman. So let me just kind of, I don't know if we should pause and go through this or what, but I was going to go on with it. But they're dying, you know, this Nate Peterman thing was really a bad thing nationally.
Yeah, it was a bad look.
You know, and I don't think they really, I don't think the Bills really care, or they don't seem to care, which is one thing I do respect. But nationally, it's like they understand that it's hard to have a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over a ton.
The only thing I could think of to justify that move, because I thought about the why of that situation a lot, Dave. Mm-hmm. A lot. The only plausible explanation I could come up with is that they felt that Tyrod's game had become too predictable, and they wanted to throw a different look out there and take a week and like retool their game plan. That's the only thing I can really think of. But whatever the reasoning was behind the scenes, behind closed doors, that shit was a failure. You guys fucked up bad.
And honestly, that's why I said a lot of stuff I'm spot on agree with. So, next part of this segment about the quarterback thing is read the rest of the article of this section. Anyway, it will not shock you to learn that an unheralded rookie with little practice time and a name as ridiculous as Nathan Peterman tossed 5 interceptions.
That's a fine name. There's nothing wrong with that name.
Tossed 5 interceptions in his first 14 passes and a 54-24 loss to LA Chargers to put the Bills even deeper into the hole.
Yeah, that's not a fine score, though.
No.
That was not okay.
No. And yet you guys finally managed to end your playoff drought. My warmest congratulations. Your reward was a wild card beatdown at the hands of Doug Marrone in a game in which Peterman made yet another cameo. You slayed one demon just to invite an even larger one to the kitchen table. That is so Buffalo. Sitcom laugh track hooting.
And you know what? I got a lot of shit from fellow Bills fans on social media at the end of the season last year. I guess I'm a fake fan because I wasn't that excited. And, everyone's like, oh, we broke the drought. We haven't won a playoff game since 1995. Did we really break the drought? Win a playoff game. To me, that's the real drought. Advance in the playoffs. We got, like you said, it was a beatdown. That game was embarrassing. That wasn't what I wanted our playoff berth to be. I wanted to score some points.
Yeah, and there's,
where's that pay dirt, dog?
There's one more paragraph to go, but I actually want to dive in. This is why I'm so excited to read this article with you. Real quick, it's like, I don't want to speak for, but the vibe.
But you're gonna.
But the vibe I get from, say, radio personalities on WGR is like, that's cool that they made it, but damn, this franchise is really riding like, hey, we broke the playoff streak, guys. This coach did it. This coach did it. And when you people want to rip on Tyrod Taylor and are in the same damn camp that, oh, well, look at his yards, but you want to look at one stat, but I'll look at the stats and say, okay, because I'm not going to go in stats. It's situational football, a.k.a. what is Bill Belichick coach and a pioneer of? Oh, situational fucking football. And sometimes his teams are lopsided, where his defense is not ranked high and his offense is ranked high, or vice versa. And it doesn't matter. But if you want to be that guy and go down this fucking stats routes, you got to see that the offense and defense ranked shitty. Okay? The game is about points and maximizing your talent. When I'm overhearing that Bean allegedly said and referenced in an interview that Tyrod Taylor was already decided on in the offseason not to be here next year, and you see what they put him on the field with, I'm sorry, but I have a problem with equity in these decisions, and this team does look stupid, and they're just going on, we made it to the playoffs. What are you worried about? I don't know. The defensive and offensive line sucked, and coaches will say that's where football fucking starts. So, yes, it was an embarrassment.
I don't know. I mean,
when Joey Bosa goes, are they even blocking? Are they even blocking?
Well, I had my own conspiracy theory about that, and I almost wonder, and I hate to think that, like,
I love conspiracy, so let's fucking go.
I hate to think that a team would ever operate like this, but I almost wonder if that offensive line was like, Coach, what are you doing? And like just let them by in protest of benching their quarterback. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that the offense that kind of came together there during Rex Ryan's tenure, Tyrod Taylor, LaShawn McCoy, you had
Percy Harvin, one healthy,
best
jersey ever.
Stop. You had Cordy, you had Richie. I mean, Eric's been there forever.
Coming soon on eBay, a Percy Harvin Bills jersey.
I feel like that group right there all had a lot of respect for each other. I feel like that huddle had a lot of respect in it, and I think as a player, especially if I was like a skill player on that team, I'd be really upset about a quarterback change in the middle of the season, right? Because I mean that's something you try to avoid at all costs. That's like if an injury happens, worst case scenario, you put your number 2 guy in there. And I mean, shit. Tyrod never did anything that warranted getting benched. I mean, his output, he struggled to get 200 yards in a lot of these games. But more often than not, he put us in a position to not lose. Not necessarily win, but to not lose. Kept us competitive, at least, by protecting the ball, if nothing else. By playing a game of field position. By getting us far enough up the field to punt to where we could stop the other team from scoring.
On 3rd and long, I didn't feel out of it with Tyrod Taylor. You know what I mean? With Ryan Fitzpatrick, you're down to either he's going to throw it or he's not.
Right.
In the right spot. And like, why do people think that? I've never seen I can't believe that so many fans. The reason, I don't want to cut you off, but I would like to kind of maybe sum up what you're trying to say, because I've been trying to say this nicely, but I don't have anybody to really sound this off on. But I could tell you this: I think the Bills, I think they're frankly winging it. I think that people are in love with a coach who acts like a professional. And I'm not going to rip Rex Ryan, but I'm going to rip Rex Ryan. He could have acted more like a professional. I understand that. But, like, don't tell me that there's a fucking process. Okay? There might be a process. Trust the process. But do not confuse process and fucking plan. Okay? Get your shit straight. Because when this team has not had... People have amnesia, as a lot of the sports guys will say in Buffalo, of the franchise, because... We have been waiting in Buffalo to get like a real GM in there, a real scouting staff, and you just dismantled what Buddy Nix and Doug Whaley built, which was a legit scouting staff, because there was a few years where the Bills never had players in the Pro Bowl, and then all of a sudden we're getting all these money players that are low-cost free agents. There's Zach Browns, that come in and they're impactful at least right away. Now, Zach Brown wasn't the best, but... what about Nigel Bradham? He was drafted in the Bills. He just won a fucking Super Bowl. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of guys that are littered around the league, and your job as a coach is to coach up the talent. And when your defensive line coach ends up, quote unquote, retiring, and your offensive line coach never watched or your offense coordinator never watched film, or your head coach should know what this guy's going to do, and you have 2 years of number 1 Bills rushing football, because that's what they want to be. It's the best rushing team, right? You have LaShawn McCoy. How about, as a fan, we feel they're full of shit, or I feel like they're full of shit, and it doesn't feel like this coaching staff even deserved. And is it deserved? No. I don't feel like they should have deserved to make it to playoffs, because it's really a numbers game, and only a matter of time that they didn't make it is fucking an anomaly within itself to be in the division with the best sports fucking dynasty ever in the Patriots. Ever, and probably all the sports, really. I mean, come on. And once in football you get your way, it's like, get out of here, dude.
I mean, can you...
I'm trying to bring it back, though. So they're full of shit, in my eyes, because...
There's been a lot of really good sports dynasties, though, dog.
Dude, we can get into that, but for the purpose of argument, I'll at least say they're in a division where the Patriots clean fucking house, okay? They have a very marketable team. You know that. They're cleaning the house. They're good. They don't fuck themselves all the time like the Bills. And the thing is when you see a coach whose job is to hire a coordinator to fit the best talent on the team, not just our biggest fear as a fan is, oh, fuck, I hope they build off of what the coach found out about the personnel and doesn't try to do this slam a system down on people, which is why we bashed Doug Marrone forever as a joke. You know what I mean? Like, Aaron Maven goes to the fucking Jets and gets more production than he had here. Was it great production? No, but it was more than he had here. Do you know what I mean? Like, players
why you got to bring that up?
Because it was Rex Ryan and it's funny. And it's like...
Yo, I had a Rex Ryan dream the other night.
Did you?
Yeah, it's disturbing.
I still have my Rex Ryan shirt. But what I'm trying to tell you is, like, they're just... It just didn't feel like they kind of earned it because they slammed a system upon the players. And where was Jerry Hughes? Where was Kyle Williams' stats? Where was Marcel Darris? Oh, you traded him. It's your job to get the best you can out of him. And you signed Salo Tule, who is a one-trick pony. and he's got a lot
That
of money
isn't
coming
nice.
in. It's
Yeah.
not. No, it's not. It's being objective. That's what all the scouting says on him. He's not a sack guy. He's an eat up blocks guy, which is cool. You need that. You're going to free up Kyle Williams. But like, you know, what
maybe. I mean, we saw Kyle Williams exit with an injury already in the preseason, and he ain't getting younger, and those injuries ain't healing any faster.
The coaching just wasn't. It just wasn't like as deserving as we felt, or I felt that other coaches kind of had it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I felt like they got very, very, very extremely lucky. But what McDermott did do, which I did like McDermott during the season. Listen to the podcast. I do like him as a coach. I think he's great as a person, smart, professional. At the same time,
that wild card berth kind of like elevated his
stock.
His stock kind of prematurely, though. I agree with that 100%.
It's just Bills fans. I said this to somebody the other day, and they go, "Are you sure?" And I go, "I guess you're right." Oh, it was my friend Mike Smith. And I go, "Come on, Bills fans
Fantasy
are
Smitty?
Yeah, Fantasy Smitty. Bills fans are way smarter than most fans." He goes, "Are they really?" I go, "Look, we at least understand quarterbacks. We at least understand a lot of things where you have a team where LaShawn McCoy did this awesomely. Tyrod Taylor was throwing the ball deep, which freed up the middle of the field for LaShawn McCoy. You know what I mean? It freed up the middle of the field for Charles Clay. I did not see more defenses squished down more on the Bills in the box than ever this past season. And it's like, that's on the coach, man. Like, I don't think the hires that he had was the greatest. So, like, pretty much that came out through the season. And to wrap up, I just felt like so many fans just blindly buy in. Like, we haven't seen this before. People are calling RG3 a franchise quarterback after a rookie year. You know what I mean? Dak Prescott, we got to get one of those. And this is a year where, like, Nick Foles won the fucking Super Bowl. And I was thinking, you know, the Bills have all these picks. The Bills have never been loaded before draft than ever I could remember. And we have all these holes on the team. And you know what? We're with the smart coach, dude. They're going to do the right thing. Trey White was a great fucking pick. Zay Jones was a fucking abomination. And, you know, dude, they got so many picks. They're going to right this move. And then I'm getting shamed as a fan that, like, analytically, Josh Allen does not project to be a great quarterback. And the Bills gave up a lot of picks for him. They gave up a starting left tackle who's transcended coaching schemes as a second-round pick, re-signed in Buffalo. Does he have a high contract? Sure. Maybe try to readjust it. And I don't know. You have a coach that benched John Miller and ran a totally opposite blocking scheme and totally fucked everything up and took away any chemistry. I don't even know what this team is. They on paper, you have these offensive linemen who are not good, at least on paper. You know, they're second-rate offensive linemen, unfortunately, second tier. You know, like Bodine's been around. Like, a lot of these guys have been around. Ducat's been around. You're just taking a right guard and moving a left guard. Are you sure it's that fucking easy? You know, and what I'm getting at is, like, we're not the only ones who see it. And it's
but is it
relieving.
not that easy? I'm not a coach. I don't know. I don't know that.
You have all these holes to fill, and you can't even come out prepared after getting that many picks, the Bills, up for Josh Allen, which, like, I like Josh Allen as a player. And I said on the podcast where Mike Smith broke six quarterbacks down, I am fine with whatever one falls to the Bills. Whatever they do, I'm going to support, and you can package them up to me, and I'll support it. And my biggest concern was this guy has to be able to correct his mistakes. His footwork's got to clean up. His short passes got to clean up. All the things that people are calling him on, he's got to clean up. And after a year of winning with Nick Foles, it kind of showed to me that, like, wow, maybe the Bills should give up a first for Nick Foles because he can do what's asked of him as a coach, what the coach asked. And watching Josh Allen was great because for the people who complained about Tyrod Taylor and the people who love Nathan Peterman, you're going to get all that stuff. And the people who love Tyrod Taylor, because the Bills look at it like this, or I hope they fucking do, which is as long as he does the smart thing with the football, maybe things can happen. You know, but we're going to go through a learning curve, and we have all these picks invested in this kid. And now here we are where Trent Murphy's injured on the end spot here, and he's got barely any camp time. And Shaq Losk, we don't know what we're getting. And this defensive line coach, I don't know what we're getting. So I guess for me, Deacon, it's really been a point of contention where, we've seen other coaches do better with less personnel, and we've, I've seen them, the previous coaches and front office build stuff, and we're finally getting players in Buffalo that are producing, and here we are with a guy who's more organized than any coach. I just don't know if it's right, and it's like now we got to trust them with these picks that they're giving up for one player, and their defensive line and offensive line went down, and I've seen coaches like Wade Phillips go to teams, every team he goes to, first year he's got a great defense, and it's all about communication to me. So when it just raises concern. So I do agree right now that, like, hey, look, you made it into the playoffs. Well, why did you make the playoffs? I mean, you did what you had to do. At the same time, you had a lot of help.
Yeah, no, there was help, and a lot of mistakes got made during the season, and basically going back to what I said before is like Tyrod Taylor didn't win a lot of games, but he also didn't lose a lot of games. Like he kept us in a position where we could have won.
Right. And on the line is Mike Smith, who happened to be calling in, so we paused the podcast to get back into this. But hi, Michael.
How's it going, guys?
So we kind of briefed you on it, and the last paragraph of this is, so what else happened? Oh, right. Richie Incognito did something racist on the field, and the Bills stood by him. Eric Wood retired with a terrifying career-ending neck injury, and the Bills did not stand by him because they were looking to save a few bucks. They defended the run.
Oof.
Yep, and that's so fucking true, too. They defended the run about as well as Rudy Giuliani defends the president. While the team won 9 games, its fans were made winless against gravity. The team president got canned for sexual misconduct. Zay Jones got naked. This fan also got naked. These two got married, but were not naked. And it's just like some awesome shit. One couple driving home after a Bills game crashed their car and switched drivers to try to avoid a DWI. Both occupants got a DWI. Now, for me, real quick, I don't give a fuck about the DWI thing because I'm not going to sit here taking a tally on who dies after each game. We already talked about that earlier, ironically. And Richie Incognito doing something racist on the field, I'm not going to fucking touch it, okay? So,
just for the record, there's no audio of that, so we don't definitively know. And again, yeah, he's obviously got some problems of his own right now. Like
I wish him the best, dude. I wish Richie Incognito the best.
Yeah, there's something wrong there, but he's done. He's done.
I would honestly, not that I could help Richie Incognito, but if you ever need someone to talk to,
Dave will give you a hug, Richie.
I'll give you a Richie. I will fucking
come for a big hug. Dude, Dave's got you.
We can go jogging. I don't like to jog, but for you, we could jog. I
might have
an opening on the hockey team Wednesday nights if you want to come sub in. That's cool too. Not sure if you ice skate, but we could skate together, Richie.
I'd tell you what, he'd be a rocker.
I love you, Richie. I love you, Richie. So look, Eric Wood. Yeah, the Bills really fucked Eric Wood.
Yeah, that whole situation was
fucking shitty. All these players fly in town, all this shit, and not for nothing, the fans, because they make it to the playoffs. Wow, Bean and fucking McDermott make it to the playoffs. You don't bring up these issues. Like, you just let the bad coaching get off the hook. You just let, like, all this crap, how you treat Eric Wood, a staple fucking center next to Kent Hall. Okay, like, get the fuck out of here. Eric Wood is an awesome dude. And I love Eric Wood's interviews with Show Up and Bulldog over the years. He was so candid, so honest. There were things he didn't have to say, and he was able to say things. And I wish him the best. I saw Ross Tucker posted with Eric Wood was on Sirius XM radio for a few hours. That's awesome. Good for Eric fucking Wood, dude. Proud of him. But the Bills fucked him to save some money. And it's like when I'm hearing that the Bills really would have moved on from Richie Incognito because of his money if he didn't adjust his contract. It's like, oh, yeah, that's right, because left guards that are fucking all pros just fall off of trees everywhere around the league. Like, okay, yeah, because you can do better, right? And it's like that, Mike, our whole point was just like.
Hey, but you brought up a point earlier when we were eating lunch. Sometimes it's not about the work, it's about the people you work with.
Right.
And he's a bit of a loose cannon. It might have been more about just getting a personality out of the building. You don't know because like his behavior is bizarre. AF. Bizarre AF.
Bizarre. And what's going on with the law right now and him, I mean, obviously maybe they knew more or whatever,
Right, the writing was on the wall. It had to have been. You
had to go.
I mean, this isn't the first time he's gotten arrested for some wild stuff, Because what was he? Smashed up his car there that time.
He's gone through some things, but to be honest, guys, I was thinking about this recently, and I always reference the Arian Foster Joe Rogan podcast. And Arian Foster was on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast about a year ago. And I love player interviews. I loved Donald Jones talking with John Murphy because you got a guy who was a huge Bills fan, came up a Bills fan, and John Murphy worked with the best in Van Miller. Oh my God, Van Miller. I'm a dick. Sorry, man. R.I.P. bud. But John Murphy's a really nice dude to me. I talked to him at camp again, and I talked to him during training camp last season during the presser. I sat next to him purposely. He doesn't know that, but I did. And just to hopefully get some banner. And he was super cool with me. So telling me his son plays drums, plays in a band, and we're music guys here, so it's cool. And, when I hear players and former players speak on the NFL, it's refreshing because Donald Jones hasn't been through a bunch of conditioning for what to say on the radio and what not. He just kind of says whatever. And then you get Reuben Brown on there. Oh, it'd be great to get Reuben Brown on there. Reuben Brown's the first one to get fans, the mainstream fans, turned on to, whoa, this offensive line fucking sucks. And that's the truth. And next thing you know,
and now Reuben Brown's not on anymore.
And either is Donald fucking Jones. And you listen to Arian Foster and Joe Rogan talk about they don't want you smoking weed, but we could take this one painkiller that we have to sign a fucking waiver for, that they have no liability if we want to take it. And it's weed can fucking help players heal and shit, and it's been proven, and we still got this chaotic, archaic bullshit. And even it said, he goes, and the best receiver in the league, Josh Gordon, is not even playing because of weed. And if you know anything about Joe Rogan, he knows nothing about the NFL or fucking sports. So it's except for martial arts. So it's for him to have Arian Foster on and pretty much say it in the most layman fucking way possible was great. And the league is full of shit. So Richie Incognito needs a lot of fucking help. A lot of these retired players need a lot of fucking help. And when you tell us it's about safety, and a guy like Zay Jones gets his fucking head beat in at the end of a play, it's clearly not about fucking safety.
Well, another thing when you talk about safety, they don't mandate that the players even wear the best helmet that technology has created. A player can pick any helmet to wear. If it was so important that safety and head injuries, they would say, this is the best helmet. This is the best at protecting your head from injury. You will wear this helmet. And there wouldn't be you wouldn't see 100 different helmets on the field. It would be one, and that would be the one that protects the head the best. But you do not see that.
The Bills the NFL actually did now limit it down, I think, with the NFLPA down to, I think, under 25 helmets to 18 helmets. My numbers are totally wrong, but I know they definitely actually
cut it back, but
yeah.
It should be a lot less.
Right.
They should still be using the best equipment. They're not all using it. Just, some people got odd-shaped heads, and they want to wear this one, or they don't like that one, but whatever the reason.
And, honestly, I've been saying it a lot lately.
Yeah, they should all be wearing a Mark Kelso.
Yeah, seriously.
For real. Yeah. Go with the mushroom top. That's the iconic helmet.
Yo, dude, and not for nothing, I already got the helmet design on tap, and someone's already going to take it. All right, but they should take this idea, which is you take your fucking helmet, all right, and you put a different kind of layer on the outside of it, almost like a thin, NASA type, foam, type efficient foam that can take light impact.
Use a rubber. They
right,
have
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something that absorbs the light
rubber,
impacts.
Yeah.
Because, dude, when I would wear a hard hat at work and I had to put my head in between little pipes and stuff at Batavia Downs, doing some dry work years back, over 10 years ago. My head would just the lightest little nick on it would fucking bounce around. It's dude, Jesus, and it's really, if they just have a no asshole rule, that's it. The players need to enforce this.
If they had a no asshole rule, there would be 3 players in the league.
Yeah. Only upsetting citizens in the NFL. Gotta have good character.
Yeah. Like you would have like J.J. Watt, and that's it.
I'm sorry, Tom Brady. Did I hit you too hard? Here, let me help you up, sir. I won't do that again.
Hold still. You got some dirt on your back. Let me get that.
Well, Vontez Burfict has been in rehab for that. So, anyways, boom. So, Michael, your signal
David.
is giving us some little ding in here, but we're good. We're back.
We're back.
All right, so look at the next part of this segment is just one paragraph called, in bold, your coach. Camel hat humper, Sean McDermott. I laughed so fucking hard when I read that. This man is a mystery to me. 1 second he's holding intensely intimate meetings with players and having them bare their souls to one another with a link to the article, which makes sense on some level because Buffalo itself is like if you made a whole city out of an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Players need to
That's
cope.
harsh.
Players need to cope.
But accurate.
And I salute McDermott for recognizing that. But then he handles his own QB situation with all the gracefulness of a fucking Twitter executive. His team also tried to trademark respect the process, another link as well, because trademarks win championships. Which Sean McDermott am I really, in caps, getting? Thankfully, I think I've sorted out the answer. Now, Mike, what is your take on the coach and what they ripped Sean McDermott about? Because I think there's a lot of stuff to it, and then we'll have Deacon rebuttal to whatever you have to say or add to it. But I agree that, you know, he is a nice, intimate coach. I like changing the culture, and you really do have good team bonding stuff. But, you know, respecting the process and all this stuff, whatever. So, like, what is your whole take? I mean, I don't
think
like.
He's a great coach. The process. It's what it takes to be where you want to be. What you have to do to achieve what you want to achieve. You have to put in the time. You have to be held accountable, and he holds everybody accountable. He tells the coach to hold players accountable. He has players holding players accountable. He has everybody holding everybody accountable. He's got competition at every position. No one is handed anything. No one is just given a job on the team. You have to earn it, and that's stuff that makes every player play harder, because if you know you can earn it, you're going to try hard, because if you know the job is unattainable, you're only going to put in so much effort, you know. And when you truly see that you can earn a position, like I think Trent Murphy is going to be the backup running back, and honestly, I don't know if they wouldn't try to even just get rid of who's the other running back? I didn't like the pickup, but that was a Billy Beane
Chris
thing.
Ivory?
Yeah, that was a terrible pickup. But, I mean, I think they guaranteed him millions of dollars, so I don't think they
We talked earlier. We talked earlier that, like, Bean, we're not even. I voiced it, like, I'm not even sure about him because this team did not have good free agents come in. They did not have good value stuff. And,
right,
you know, they gave up a lot of picks for Josh Allen, which is 3 starters, you know.
I'll tell you what, if they can work out some kind of trade with the Raiders and guarantee Khalil Mack a ton of money next year with some of that free cap they have, everybody will be singing hallelujah.
Yeah, and you better be fucking in the right position to do that. And I don't know how he's not on the doorstep blowing the general manager over there right now and fucking giving John Gruden flowers. Like, yo, make this damn happen. Like, do I have to buy Brandon Beane a fucking plane ticket? I will go for you out of my own fucking pocket. So, Deacon, your thoughts?
Oh, whatever it takes to get Khalil Mack. If that's a possibility, you make it happen. A future, I would give up to a future first for that.
All right,
all day. I mean, am I wrong?
No, not at all, dude. I think you give up a first and Shaq Lawson. Shaq Lawson gets the fresh start and give up a fast. Give up a first and Shaq.
What about Edmunds? Would you trade our newly acquired young linebacker?
100% yes, I wouldn't think twice.
And then give this guy a boatload of money, even though you think Edmunds is going to be really good. And you're going to have him at a super low contract for the next 5 years.
Still 100% yes.
I like coaches who can fit players in a position to win, and the fact that they had Cardale Jones on the roster when they came in, they had what's his name there? Reggie Ragland on the roster. And yes, he was more of a quote-unquote Rex fit, but a good coach makes players work. And I feel like you could have put Reggie Ragland out there even in Shaq Lawson's spot, and he probably would have produced better. You know what I mean? It's just like, even though it shouldn't work on paper, it's just... I don't agree with just getting rid of talent that you haven't even sniffed at fucking developing. And it was clearly a clean house thing. I know more than you, and a lot more Bills fans are not full of shit.
Right. And here's my thoughts on it is Sean McDermott's crowning achievement was during his time as the defensive coordinator of the Panthers. And I think as far as interior linebackers go, Khalil Mack is as close to a Luke Kuechly as you can get. And I think if he wants to repeat his successes that he had in Carolina, he needs that proven elite interior linebacker to be the axle that the rest of that defense spins on.
Mike.
See, now I think Edmunds is a special talent, and I honestly think he's going to vastly improve this defense. Like, his ability to cover ground, he's still learning and he needs to improve, but he is picking up at a very good rate, especially for someone his age. But his ability to cover ground, cover tight ends, cover in the flats, to run to the outside and stuff them at the line to reach the edge and get the running backs before they cut that corner. I mean, I think, will be a special talent. So I myself would not get rid of him to get Khalil Mack, because Khalil Mack wants a ton of money, and right now we're in a good financial position. But if we give all that money to Khalil Mack, then you start having the other players that start to do well. Then we're going to run out of money. We're not going to be able to get the linemen we need next year, because you can draft one, but you got to get one too, because these guys are not going to cut it. So I myself wouldn't do that. But Trey Edmunds, he's my favorite draft pick.
Yeah, he is the Luke Kuechly to me, if anything.
I mean,
in our last year's draft.
It's just a matter of you got one guy who could be an elite player, and you got one guy who definitively is an elite player, a proven elite player. And it would be nice to have that kind of security somewhere on this roster, because right now, where do we have a guy where we can say we got one of the best in the league? We got LaShawn McCoy, who's a running back in his 30s. You know what I mean?
My only concern with Khalil Mack is, I mean, soft tissue injuries are up exponentially in the NFL over the last couple of years. Him not going to camp and holding out, you cannot simulate game speed by not being there. And although it may be one thing for these running backs who are used to it and they've sat out, he could be in line for some pain or a potential injury the longer he decides not to play. So that's the only thing I'd be concerned. But like I said, I think Edmunds is going to be so good that I'm not going to take a proven guy who at this point wants a ton of money, who's going to hamper the team financially. I mean, yeah, if they could make it work somehow, some way, without, handcuffing us, that would be great, because I think the two of them together would be phenomenal.
Oh, that's ideal, but is it realistic?
Yeah, that's what you got. That's the only thing you could do. That's the only option to me is, it's on the Bills coaches to get something out of Shaq Lawson. He would have been a first-round pick either way, okay? Does he suck that bad? Come on, guys. Is he a little irresponsible? So some things have been leaked that I didn't even know about till the Bills talked about it. And it's like, it's like, man, just the coaches got to figure this out. And the Bills don't have money till next year. But if Khalil Mack is out there with Trey White, and then you got Edmunds, and you got two guys and safeties who are just awesome together, great chemistry, I don't have a choice but to make sure that our real Luke Kuechly replacement, who can go side to side with speed, because when they brought McDermott, that was my first deal, is like, not for nothing, and I'm going to wrap on his coach point, but if you're going to bring in Sean McDermott, who's Luke Kuechly? That was my first question. Number two is, why are we giving this coach all this credit from Carolina when they trade away Greg Norman and all of a sudden, or they cut him and don't have the franchise tag, they release him, and the coach is not able to adjust. And they had one of the worst defenses. And it's like, oh, well, he had to start these corners that were young. I don't give a fuck. Your job as a coach is to stop the run and make it work. And your team was an abomination on defense, your last year coaching that team. So it's not that I don't like McDermott. It's just take him off this unnecessary fucking pedestal. He did a good job with what he had. I have faith in him because he's a very organized person. And with the wrestling background, I understand where he came from, and I have a lot of respect for that. So that's pretty much where I'm at. But so Michael, you're about to dip out. And
yeah, guys, it was good talking, but I got the Bills winning 10 games, and they're going to shock the shit out of the national media, so fuck all of you.
We'll talk about that, and also Mike and I are running a Numb Bills Fan Fantasy League, so Deacon's in, Mike's in, Jeff Knight's in, Drunk Dean is in. He doesn't know it, but he's in. We got Rodney Schuler in, and I'm going to ask Scott Campbell, who sits next to me. But, all right, stay tuned. Follow Mike Smith. Where are you at, Mike, on Twitter?
Catch me at Fantasy Smitty on Twitter. And I'll talk to y'all boys later. Have a good one.
Awesome, Mike.
Deuces.
All right. So that's Mike Smith. Always great to hear. But this article, we're going to blow through this. So your quarterback, once again, congratulations are in order because the Bills finally got their wish of having a shitty white guy at quarterback again. Hooray. Your long nightmare of Tyrod Taylor's conservative competence is finally over. Here's a player whom the Bills had fucked over for years, and yet he remained composed and professional enough to deliver them their first playoff game in 2 fucking decades. Tyrod Taylor's reward for all that was a one-way ticket to Cleveland. These fans approve, and it shows all these white dudes. Taylor has since been replaced by a mayo salad of Peterman, still there. Former Bengal agent McCarron and rookie Josh Allen. McCarry once opened a racist sushi restaurant. Allen once tweeted this. I don't even see. Oh, why are you so white? If it ain't white, it ain't right. Okay, so I don't know what that came from, but like I kind of looked into that. Did you ever look into this Josh Allen tweet shit?
I started to, and I said, you know what? This shit is stupid.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't want to give him the benefit of the doubt. If he owned it, one thing I do like about Josh Allen is he owns all the criticism. And it's really hard to do. For him to literally have a funeral-sounding fucking press conference after he got drafted, and he bared through it, like, cool. You know, so really it comes down to me. What do the players around him think? I mean, we won't find out for a bit. Now, as far as Tyrod Taylor, we've talked to that into exhaustion even on this podcast. So, and honestly, this A.J. McCarron thing, So, again, these fans approve. Anyway, Josh Allen is the answer to the question, hey, what if Carson Wentz was fucking terrible? Let's have a look. So, this guy, Michael Kiss, on Twitter, posted a video. I remember Josh Allen nearly doing this to a coach in practice at the Senior Bowl. Dude was 5 yards away. Okay. So, that is just sublime. You can basically burn all relevant portions of a scouting report and get away with it in Buffalo. So long as you can tell the fans, this boy is country strong. It's like the Bills openly despise the notion of hope. How Josh Allen avoided becoming a New York Jet, we'll never know. Anyway, the Bills' initial plan was to start McCarron until he either got hurt or sucked badly enough for them to feed Allen into the wood chipper. Lucky for you, the former has already come to pass. You're in for an entire season of that one Nathan Peterman game. I've seen the preseason hype about Allen. All lies, I know, sucker. Deeks, do you want to take a stab at this?
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to grow and say we talked about Josh Allen a lot here, and I'll tell you this. I think that the kid talked about analytics, all right, and I got shit on by people close to me, Scott Campbell specifically, who sits next to me at the game. Oh, how do you not support? No, I support Josh Allen. It's just I don't support what was given up for Josh Allen because I don't want to have these unreal expectations on Josh fucking Allen because when you fans turn on him, you guys are going to be complete fucking assholes. Okay? So I don't want that for anybody. For assholes to be assholes. That's it. So when all these high expectations are brought about in your little fantasy bubble about fucking, oh, I'm into the playoffs, trust everything they do. No. You're going to burn this guy at the stake so quick, dude. Like, he's going to... Come on, man. Relax. Let him develop. And you know what? Josh Allen's actually correcting the mistakes of his criticisms. Those little short passes, he showed it in his last game he can complete those. And ironically, his completion percentage is the same as it was in college. So, I'm not worried about Josh Allen. The Bills are in this position, frankly, where these are the 3 quarterbacks they have on the roster, and Josh Allen is as good as them. You play him. And he looks it because McCarron's going to get killed. And as far as McCarron's thing about, you know, AJ, I want to say his restaurant is called Ajin, Ajian. I did want to touch on that for a sec. I clicked the article about it. Him and his wife opened up a restaurant in Alabama called Ajin, and he got shit on for all this racism stuff like that. Now, look, it's a touchy subject. My mom's from Italy. My wife is from Thailand. I grew up around all sorts of cultures. My dad's girlfriend after my mom was black. You know, like I've been around the block with culture. So like, when I hear that the fucking sushi is cut in a goddamn machine, and there's like no appreciation for the culture, when I hear that, it kind of fucking makes me mad. That said, you can kind of like, if you got the money, like do whatever you want. If you want to, I don't care, I'm Italian, but if you want to open up a fucking Italian restaurant and make your raviolis out of fucking dog piss, go for it. If that's what you want to sell, go for it. Like, I mean,
I don't know, man. Like, Taco Bell's not authentic Mexican, but it's still okay to eat sometimes.
That's kind of where I'm fucking at. You know, like that's.
But that name is fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's really disrespectful to the culture. Like, you know, in this article, I thought we could get through like more of this. But
it's really long.
Yeah, it's really long, but what's new that sucks, I'm just going to touch on it. He goes, why do you keep trading for other teams' wideouts? A year after the Bills traded for handless blimp Calvin Benjamin, they turn right around and grab Corey Coleman out of Cleveland. It's baffling. All Coleman does is get hurt. All Benjamin does is eat, bitch about Cam Newton, and have touchdown catches overturned. All those are the 2 best wideouts on the roster. They also have Andre Holmes, Jeremy Curley, and Rod Streeter. Names that sound like an amalgamation. Okay, yeah. Amalgamation of every wideout to ever play for Al Davis.
He sounded it out. That's cute.
I know. These players all suck. Thankfully, the Bills are designed to be more of a running team. Anyway, so let's check in with their bell cow back. And then they touch on LaShawn McCoy and yada, yada, yada. And then what else sucked is you had 1 year of Buffalo, one somewhat pleasant year of winning football, but it's over now. Maybe, you know, make another playoff cameo in 2038. There's Nick Vieira longboarding with his dog, holding his leash, walking by.
Not looking at us.
Trotting by.
Yeah, no, Dave's got the podcast studio set up in the living room. We're looking out the big front window. This is nice.
Dreaming that I had dogs that my one dog, if he got out, wouldn't just kill everybody. That would be kind of fucking cool. And then, you know, they pretty much talk about, but it's over now. And it's going to be another endless dog sled march across a vast plain of frozen turds. Merrick Aaron is shitty and hurt. Josh Allen is going to make Nathan Peterman somehow look appetizing again. I doubt it. I don't know. I'm kind of done with this article. At this point, the whole Bills Mafia thing is like watching a decrepit rock band from the 70s still try to tour.
Boo.
You know what? Bills Mafia, it really is, a lot of it's pretty corny. You know, it is. Family fun time. But I guess that's why you get into sports. You know, I like kids in sports to get to play chess and get mad. Here's how economics work.
If not wearing a shirt in the middle of December is dumb, I don't want to be smart.
Yeah. Seriously.
But seriously, wooden tables.
This is pretty much, you know, the last thing is what might not suck? Nothing. You just threw away a playoff season for a 5-year rebuild featuring a dipshit Wyoming racist. You do it to yourselves, Buffalo, all in caps. So, you know, I don't know. I'm stoked on the article, this and that. And, of course, there's going to be a lot of satire. Of course, there's going to be exaggeration on it. So I do like reading that. I'd rather read it than not. But it was pretty fun to get through, I think, the most important ones that were... I thought we would read the whole thing, but we are an hour and 4 minutes into this, and me and Deacon got to go. So...
It's time to make the donuts.
Do you have any more thoughts? Like, I while you're here, I don't think Josh Allen is going to be as bad as the lowest of the low fans on him could be. And I've been pretty harsh, but I just want to make it clear you can listen through it. It's not the player, it's the equity of the player. We have 2 starters.
It's going to be hard for
3 starters.
It's going to be hard for a young quarterback, even an experienced quarterback, to not have top targets. You know what I mean? I mean, they tried to put some guys in position last year for Tyrod Taylor. They tried Anquan Bolden. He bailed. They drafted Zay Jones. Not great. You know, they got Jordan Matthews. Got hurt. They tried Rod Streeter last year. Got hurt. I mean, they were trying to get guys in here. But until this team can find a high caliber target for Josh Allen, I think he's gonna struggle as a young quarterback.
I'm hoping that he makes the right decisions with the ball, aka just don't throw the ball to get rid of it. I really feel like somebody was in Peterman's head that, hey, you got to get rid of the ball. Tyrod's not getting rid of the ball. And when you get your opportunity, you can't wait to step into your own offensive lineman's leg to get rid of the ball. And Josh Allen just needs to recognize when he can and can't get his ball jumped. You know what I mean? Like, these cornerbacks are going to jump the routes. They're going to sit on routes. And he has to learn that. That said...
right. I mean, that's kind of like where Nate Peterman's at. Is just like guys will sit on his route, and his release was like loose last year, and it was just easy to pick him off. You know,
Nate Peterman,
and they told us that coming out of Pittsburgh. They said coming out of college that he didn't have that zip on the ball, and these pro corners, they're hungry. They're hungry when you got a quarterback like that on the field. They know it, and they're gonna wait for it.
We talked earlier, and right now I just want to get a quick take from you, just to reset for 2 minutes here. You said, and I agreed, you would trade the Jets 3 quarterbacks or the Bills 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah. If like it was like a package deal, and it was Allen and McCarron and Peterman for McCown, Darnold, and Bridgewater, I would make that trade.
I thought, and a lot of Bills.
And I don't like Darnold. For the record, he was the one quarterback I did not want us to draft.
Now, I don't know shit, but I will say that from what I have heard, because I kind of look at college like this, these analytics people are going to adjust the completion percentages. They're going to have adjusted analytics, so you have to take an average. And then I have to go by opinions of the people who are old school as well and combine them. I have to take the data from everywhere. And the problem I have with Darnold is, if you're throwing that many picks at USC, you're not going to clean that up all of a sudden and get smarter. That's why Josh Allen, I have a lot of faith in, because he started at the bottom. He's one to even joke, writing autographs, joking about all of his criticisms. I think that's really fucking cool. Like, Josh Allen, you can come smoke with us anytime. It's cool.
No,
you guys, all right, it's not
No.
good.
No.
Definitely don't do mushrooms before you go to the Bills game. All right, don't do that. Don't fucking do that. You know, you might pitch a no hitter or something on acid. Oh wait, wrong sport. So, was that a perfect game? Is that a perfect game? Who the fuck did that? Was that David Wells who said he did that? No. It was some pitcher who said he pitched a perfect game or a no hitter on acid.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know who it was. I think it was like I think he played for like the Pirates though. I've seen like a little like short documentary about it.
Good for him, man.
This was years ago though. If you're gonna talk about that shit, you should probably Google it.
I'll say though, Teddy. I'm back on topic. A little rap.
You're saying in front of a computer. You could have totally looked that
No,
up.
I'm not risking that.
Well,
You're
you're cutting your poor listeners so short here by not just typing in like LSD no hitter. What a lousy host. You guys don't deserve that.
I'll give you the.
You also don't deserve me though. I'm awesome.
Doc Ellis, no hitter, 1970.
Yeah.
On acid.
Look at that. Look, how long did that take? Was that 5 seconds or 6 seconds?
I don't know, but the thing is the problem is, Deacon, is they're taking me away from the process. And my process was not to look it up.
Your process.
Okay, don't worry about what
your
the
process is. Trash. Throw it in the dumpster.
My process is money, which is sit here, scratch my fucking nuts, and wonder, man, I don't know.
Okay, that's it. This podcast is over. Tell them where to find you online.
I don't even say that like
you're done. You don't even get a final thought. You don't even get a final thought with the scratch my nuts comment. You just put this in the coffin. You're done.
Find us on Twitter, Numb Bills Fan, Adam the Bills Fan, on Instagram.
That's
and
me.
Everywhere. Also moderating your favorite Bills group at Bills Mafia. Shout out to Jamie Tilbury. Hi Jamie. Let's go Megadeth and Slayer. So, Deeks, it was great. I guess we're going to leave now. We had an awesome sub. Also, don't forget, listen to Punch Drunk Sports Podcast on punchdrunksports.com, and on Twitter. They are awesome. They have awesome posts. And so follow along with them. They're great. We're part of the Punch Drunk Sports Podcast Network, whatever that is. So check it out and listen to their podcast and subscribe. Join their Patreon. So as always, I'm out. Your host, David Palermo, Adam Deacon, and subscribe, follow along. If you enjoyed the podcast, please let us know. And probably don't tell us. All right, let us know. Any topics you want to talk about. If you think you're a good talker and you can hang in shit talk land, I'll put you through the line. Just don't suck. But if you do suck, we could always erase it, and then I just won't call you again. So you got to be quality like Mike Smith, calling with like bad phone signal, going through a fucking drive-through.
Oh, he didn't. He wasn't in
He
an
gave
invite.
us a-
He was calling you just cause, and we made him do this. This was my fault. I was like, pause it, answer the phone. Pause it, answer the phone. Sorry, Mike. I dragged you into this, bro.
I want to
my fault.
I want to manipulate it to my way, which is, Mike, you fucked it all up, dude. God damn it, Mike. All right, I'm out. Deacon, anything else?
Stop. Press stop.